So let's organize by tag and then make nice orderly boxes. As you know, this tool can make orderly arrangements. This is anytime you select, you have this, which can be organized. So we're going to use that in a second. But I don't have all 13 tags here, but I have I think half that. I'm going to show you Clusterizer first. This is 6. We could put a few more on there. It may break down after 7, 8, 9, depending on how your tag structure looks like, or it become conflated. But it'll at least kind of neighborhood things in some pretty useful pockets. But it might not handle your case at 13 or 14 tags because we live in a two-dimensional Miro world. So let's just do this. So let's open up Clusterizer. It can be found on the app marketplace. So you can find it here in the Miro marketplace. So in the Miro marketplace, you'll find Clusterizer. And what it's going to do is when you select a group of tagged items, it'll turn those tags into these circles, and you can kind of scroll in and out of this, and then you can kind of move around. So all the tags are now red, or sorry, they're colored circles, and then all your sticky notes are then represented as those squares. This is called a force-directed graph. So each thing that's connected has a kind of gravity towards the tag that it's connected to. And if you pull these things apart, it kind of depends on each graph, each network kind of, and you can pull even individual, items out, and they'll pin in place. You kind of stretch your big ball of tag sticky note spaghetti out, and what you end up with is these clusters of things that share tags, because they end up in a kind of geometric similar position because the force kind of vectors on them, the strings attached, so to speak, are all very similar. And this pink one is very similar to blue, but it's not entirely, because this pink one has a tag which is the tag of blue, but they share the other three of purple, green, and red. So anyway, which is why when we kind of double click these, they'll kind of find a different spot. So if they're not nestled kind of near each other, you know that they're very close, but not quite. Okay, so that's the Clusterizer. And what we're going to do is deselect off that. Don't make another selection or it'll update this again. But let's just move to an open place on the board and hit build. And it'll take Miro a second over on their side to build this back out as a new set, a new set of like sticky note clones, and then these entirely new tag circles, and then lines, and it kind of brings all the objects up in front of the lines, and you may need to reposition it if it's pretty large. Okay, so now we've got that thing that we just had on the side. We can close Clusterizer. So now you've got your clusters, and all we got to do is kind of do what we were doing over there, where we can take a set of sticky notes, and here I'm grabbing some stuff that includes a circle. So if I want to just grab the sticky notes, I can use this filter sticky note, come in here and go filter 9 objects, go to the 4 sticky notes. I can bring them over here, and then now I'm supposing you're probably saying, oh, I want to do all of this programmatically. So that would be a slightly different discussion, but it can all be done. Yeah, this is kind of fun to do, but you can get these. The other thing I would say, so yeah, you can see what I'm doing. You can kind of go and repeat, and then you could kind of line these all up. But the graph gives you a reminder. Like if you keep the lines connected, you can come in and look at one of these sets, for example, and you go, oh, say we had a name on this, shareability and keepability. Shareability and scalability. Let's say that this was a thing, right? And these two, you'd say, oh, these are very similar. So these are very nearby, something that's not kind of like these, that doesn't have the same amount of the same sort of the same relationships to tags, is going to be a group that's farther off here. These things don't even, they don't even share immediately any one of the things that these are connected to. So you can kind of know that your regions now are kind of topical regions based on proximity to the tags. So that can be helpful. And then if you like the lines, right, the lines, like, again, will be able to help you distinguish that scalability is connected to 3, whereas shareability is connected to 4. And I can see that, oh, the unique thing for shareability is blue. Okay. These tags in this data set is not entirely sensible, but the principles kind of still apply. So then the last thing here is to, let's say you didn't want the lines. Again, you could do this game and come in here and go filter, connection lines. You can just delete them. And again, you could come in here and you could go filter, shape, and delete out your tags. I would kind of think that the other stuff would remain pretty useful. But here you've got kind of now your all your kind of combinatorial clusters, so to speak, your sort of tag combination clusters. And yeah, you could kind of reduce all this down to kind of this like matrix or array, or just like a stack, a rectangle of, groups that you could go through methodically. But obviously, like I was saying, where they're placed spatially has some kind of intelligence embedded in it that could be useful. I think that's all to show. Yeah, and if this is more about how to get the computer to do all this, that's an interesting but different conversation. And that would probably mean building out these groups more explicitly in an algorithm of, these are all the yellow green cluster. How many do I have? 6, do 2 rows of 3. These are all yellows. You could play that game pretty easy. It would be a slightly different app, but could be useful. Okay, that's enough for now. Hope it's helpful.